Can you dig through concrete with a metal spoon for 18 months? Or how about hiding a saw inside frozen hamburger meat and smuggling it in without anyone noticing? Alcatraz. Papier-mâché heads, June 11th, 1962, a Tuesday morning. At Alcatraz prison in San Francisco Bay, guard Bill Long began his routine morning check. Cell 152, Frank Morris's cell. Frank Morris was sleeping in his bed. Guard Long knocked on the bars. "Wake up, Morris." There was no answer, no sound. Annoyed, he decided to enter. When he touched Morris's shoulder, Morris's head rolled to the floor. It was a fake head made of paper. Long froze, unable to understand what had happened. Then the alarm started blaring. So who was Frank Morris? Born in 1926, IQ of 133, an intelligence level possessed by only 2% of the population. He had escaped from Louisiana State Prison before. His transfer to Alcatraz should have been a punishment for him, but for Morris, it was more of a challenge than a punishment. His plan seemed simple, but was perfect. First step, he had to remove the ventilation grate behind his cell. But how could he do it? With metal spoons. Yes, you heard that right. He attached spoons stolen from the prison cafeteria to a broom handle and made a primitive drill. For 18 months every night, he dug through the concrete wall with his metal spoon. Second step, he needed to fool the guards. He came up with the idea of making fake heads for morning checks. Papier-mâché, soap, toilet paper. He mixed it all together and shaped it into a human head. He collected hair from the barbershop. He made eyebrows with painted pencil shavings. These fake heads looked real in the dark. Third step, escape vehicle. They stole 50 raincoats and made a raft. They melted them together using steam pipes. On the night of June 11th, Morris and his two friends put the plan into action. They placed the fake heads in their beds and climbed through the wall into the ventilation shaft, then climbed to the roof and lowered the raft into the water. And they vanished. The FBI's official statement was, "They probably drowned, but not a single body was found." In 2015, a photograph belonging to the Anglin family surfaced, taken in Brazil in 1975. The FBI examined it with facial recognition software and concluded it was an 85% probable match. In 2013, a letter arrived at the San Francisco police. The sender claimed to be John Anglin. The letter said, "Yes, we made it. Yes, we're alive. Frank died in 2008, Clarence in 2011. I'm still alive." A DNA test was conducted, but the results remained inconclusive. El Chapo, a mile-long tunnel. A tunnel so sophisticated, engineers called it impossible. July 11th, 2015. Altiplano called Mexico's most secure prison. Drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman was in his cell. 8:52 p.m. The guard was doing his usual check. El Chapo was heading to the shower area. In the camera footage, he bends down and then disappears. 50 minutes later, the alarm started ringing. Guards rushed to the cell. They found a 20 by 20 inch hole in the shower area. A ladder descended 10 meters deep, and there, a tunnel began. This wasn't just a tunnel, it was an engineering marvel. Length, 1.5 kilometers, approximately 1 mile. Height, 1.7 meters, exactly El Chapo's height. Width, 75 centimeters. Features, lighting, ventilation, motorcycle on rails. Engineers estimated digging this tunnel took at least 1 year. Approximately 350 truckloads of earth were removed. The cost was at least $1 million. The tunnel passed directly under the prison and emerged inside a half-built house. The house had only begun construction 5 to 6 months earlier. Neighbors hadn't been suspicious because construction trucks were constantly coming. El Chapo entered the tunnel. He got on the motorcycle. As he traveled along the rails, he broke the lights as he passed so no one could follow him. And he gained his freedom. El Chapo remained free for only 6 months. During this time, he even met with actor Sean Penn and gave an interview. He was captured in Sinaloa in January 2016. Today, he's serving life in prison in the United States. Dannemora saw inside frozen meat. The date was June 6, 2015. Clinton Correctional Facility, Dannemora, New York. No one had escaped from here in 170 years. During morning check, the guard was checking 2 cells, David Sweat and Richard Matt. Both were lying down, but these were fake dummies and pillows stuffed with clothes. Sweat and Matt had already escaped. So how? The mastermind of the plan, Joyce Mitchell. She was a staff member in the prison's tailor shop, 51 years old, married, but she had fallen in love with both Sweat and Matt. Joyce Mitchell's role was critical. She had to smuggle in tools, saw blades, chisels, pickaxes. She hid them inside frozen hamburger meat and gave them to guards. The guards didn't notice the tools in the meat and delivered them to the cells. The escape plan was that Mitchell would wait for them at a shopping center on the day of escape. Then they would flee to Mexico. After Sweat and Matt got the tools, they started working. They cut the back wall of their cells and broke through a brick wall. They entered a steam pipe and crawled through it. Then they emerged through a manhole. But Joyce Mitchell didn't show up. At the last minute, she suffered from guilt and backed out. Sweat and Matt started fleeing into the forest. The biggest manhunt in New York State Police history began. Thousands of police, helicopters, dogs. 21 days later, Richard Matt was found and shot dead. 2 days later, David Sweat was captured. Joyce Mitchell was arrested. She admitted her crime. She had helped the inmates and received a 7-year prison sentence. Pascal Payet, 3 helicopter escapes. Once as lucky, twice as skill. 3 times, that's legendary. Pascal Payet, French bank robber and also a killer, but his real fame, escaping from prison by helicopter 3 times. October 12, 2001, Luynes Prison, France. Payet had received 30 years for killing a security guard during a robbery. It was 10:30 a.m. Inmates were in the yard. Suddenly, a helicopter descended from the sky into the prison yard, and 4 masked men emerged. They drew weapons and called out to Payet. Payet jumped into the helicopter and managed to escape from prison. The guards were in shock. The whole thing took only 2 minutes. Payet remained free for 5 months before being captured. Another escape dated July 14, 2007, Grass Prison. Payet was now the most watched inmate. He was kept in a single cell. He was transferred to a different prison every 6 months. But July 14th was Bastille Day, France's biggest holiday. 4 masked men took a pilot hostage at Cannes Airport and hijacked a helicopter. The helicopter landed on the roof of Grass Prison. Armed men cut through the roof and entered. 10 minutes later, they took Payet and left together. No shots were fired and no one was injured. 2 months later, in September 2007, Payet was captured in Spain. He was extradited to France. This time, he was placed in a secret prison. Its location wasn't disclosed. John Dillinger wooden gun, the gun that changed American history, made of wood. March 3, 1934, Crown Point Prison, Indiana. It was known as the escape-proof prison. Famous bank robber John Dillinger was inside his cell. The 1930s. They were doing morning exercise. Dillinger suddenly stopped. He pulled a gun from his pocket. He pointed it at the guards' faces. "Hands up!" The guards raised their hands. The gun looked real. And Dillinger had a killer instinct. He had already killed a police officer before. No one thought to check the gun, but the gun was only made of wood. It was painted with shoe polish. Dillinger took the guard's keys. He passed through 5 doors and took real machine guns. He stole the sheriff's car from the garage, and he escaped. The whole thing took 30 minutes. But was it really a wooden gun? Historians still debate this. Some say, yes, Dillinger carved a wooden gun in prison. Others, no, his lawyer smuggled the real gun in with a bribe. The truth is this: Dillinger's lawyer, Louis Paquette, paid a $3,500 bribe. The gun was brought in from outside. But the legend is powerful. The wooden gun story made Dillinger a legend. 4 months later, on July 22, 1934, Dillinger was shot and killed by FBI agents in front of the Biograph Theater in Chicago. But his name was etched in history because that wooden gun became part of American mythology.